So that covers the basic mastering chain. You have your mastering EQ correcting any EQ issues and evening out the frequencies across the tracks. Then there's the multiband compressor to help give more control to your dynamics plus the tonal character across the frequency spectrum. Then you have some stereo enhancers to help widen the audio. And finally, you slam on a brick wall limiter to increase the overall level so that your music stands out against other commercial releases. But there are some extra mastering processes that you can add to your chain to help just enhance the audio and spice it up a little bit more. Two of these are tape emulation plugins and harmonic exciters. First, with tape emulators, this treats it as if your audio is passing through some tape to add some extra warmth to the sound. Tape is a wonderful medium that has unfortunately lost a bit of its impact with the digital music production era. But some great software developers have emulated how tape adds warmth to a sound in their plugins. Now, my favorite of the lot is PSP's Vintage Warmer. Let me load up an instance of it on this track. So it brings up this pretty cool looking interface of a plugin, and I really like this great preset over here called Mastering First Aid. And as you can see, it's boosted the drive and the low and high bands. Now basically what this does is it imparts a tape warmth emulation on the sound. So it's adding a bit of drive, just giving it that sound that is passing through a tape reel. So let's bypass and first listen to it before this is applied. And now with it enabled. You can see it's just driving the sound a bit more, giving a bit more warmth to the sound. It's pretty subtle. But if I push up this knee value, you'll hear how it's adding some sort of warm overdrive to the sound. I'm just going to pull that down. So I'm pretty happy with that setting on there. There are some other tape emulators out there that are great for mastering like this. For a free option, there's Vox & Go's Tube Amp. It's an amp emulator plugin that can help to add in some warmth into your mastering. And then there's also Softtube's Saturation Knob. Then on the more high-end side of things, there's Slate Digital's Virtual Tape Machine. And then on Ozone Advanced, it has some really cool vintage tape modules. I'd highly recommend looking into some of these as they really do help the end product of your master. Next, another great tool to use to add some extra flavor to your masters are harmonic exciters. They work slightly different than an EQ. What they do is they excite the frequency areas and hype them up. So it's sort of a form of distortion as opposed to a type of EQ. So what you might find is that by using a harmonic exciter, especially in the higher registers, will just add that extra sizzle onto your sound that will help it shine. I'm going to use a favorite of mine, which is the D82 Sonic Maximizer. I've been using it for years and it's really a very simple tool. It's basically got 3 controls, but the 2 I only rarely use is this low contour and process. So this is boosting the low band or exciting the low band, and then this is exciting the higher band or higher frequencies. Let's hear this in action. So I'm going to give the bass a bit of a boost. So that's just exciting it a bit more. And then maybe the high. Just adding some extra sparkle to that sound. And hear it before. Sounds a bit flatter with it bypassed. And then enabling it. Just really adding some extra shine and sparkle to the sound. Now, another exciter I'd like to recommend is the one that comes with Ozone. So I'm just going to remove this one and then add in an instance of the Ozone Exciter. This one's quite a bit more detailed. You might see that it looks familiar to their multiband compressor, and that's because it does have multi-bands. You've got the 4 bands, and then on each of these bands, you can excite the band with excitement, and then also choose the amount of how much you want to apply that. So let's click the Learn button like I did with the previous Ozone unit and play back the audio so that it picks up the crossover bands. So that's found those bands for me. Now what I can do is I can go in and boost these bands. I like boosting the high, mid, and high band quite a bit more, just giving it some extra sparkle and shine. And what I really like about Ozone is that you can increase the amount quite a bit. You can hear that's quite a bit too much, and then drop the mix amount of that. So by boosting it up, you're getting the tonal character of that excitement, and then you can just bring it down so it's not too much. And then also with Ozone, you have some different options that you can choose. So this is using the triode circuitry, but you can also choose to make it sound like it's going through some tubes. And you hear if I boost this, just a bit of more harder sound than the triode, or emulate going through tape, retro, and you'll hear these if I boost this up a bit more, and then warm. So they're quite a bit different in character. I'm going to use the tube for now, and I'm just going to bring this down, that's just a bit much, and just bring down these amounts. And I don't really want to boost the low or excite the low registers. I think that's sounding pretty good. So let's hear before, and then enabling it. That's pretty cool, just adding some extra excitement to the sound. So that's an example of using tape emulators and harmonic exciters to just add some extra interest into your masters. So that's 2 extra tools that you can add to your mastering toolbox that will definitely help bring out some extra character in your mastering.